to shut up and shoot.
Hi, here we go.
Straight Shooter Coffee, the official coffee of Therapy Range.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another In the Shop video with Therapy Range. Today, we're going to talk about how the ATF is going after solvent traps. We're going to get more into detail with that here in just a second. Enjoy the intro. So what is a solvent trap, you might ask? Well, it's a device that's been sold and marketed for years to be able to collect any of the draining oils or cleaner solvents that would come off of a firearm. But with a little bit of creative drilling and this and that, and before you know it, bada bing, bada bang, you've got something that supposedly will baffle the sound of a firearm. Well, the ATF, I guess, has finally figured out what was going on with this, or knew what was going on and decided that, you know, under the Biden regime, they can just do whatever they want. So now they're going to come after another item that's been lawfully purchased for years by American citizens. In my opinion, no, I think this is actually a really good thing. I mean, with what has happened with the Bruin decision and what we've been seeing going on with the ATF and their rulemakings and their attempts to have executive privilege, the courts have been smacking them around left and right. And when you factor in the Bruin decision, I think it's a good thing, because this is going to spontaneously create a lawsuit against the federal government. One of our gun organizations, a number of our gun organizations will be inspired to do this by another rise in membership, another cry out for less legislation on our Second Amendment rights. And if they fight it too hard, it'll end up going to the Supreme Court, where, you know, we kind of have a good run, good standing for the Second Amendment with that whole Bruin decision, because you're going to have a hard time, legislators. You're going to have a really, really hard time finding a text, history, or tradition for restricting silencers, mufflers, suppressors, whatever you want to call them. You're going to have a really hard time finding a historical precedence for that will that will do you guys justice in this case. So I personally think it's a good thing that they've decided to go after this. I thoroughly am convinced that the courts will overturn this. Yeah, I know. My camera took a crap on me. Who would have thunk it? I guess I needed to charge it, and you know, but it's okay. We'll get through this together. Yeah, together. For a lot of people, it might be really easy to say, who gives a shit? How does this impact me? Why do I care? Well, I mean, here's a couple of reasons why you should care. Whether you do or not, that's going to be up to the individuals to decide for themselves. But if you've never used a suppressor, then you just really don't know, okay? I was kind of on the fence about, oh, blah, 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 blah. I don't want to use a suppressor, blah, 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 blah. ATF, tax stamp, blah, 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 blah. Once I got to try one, I'm like, oh, man, I really would like to have this. And, you know, that's what the solvent trap is, circumventing the federal tax stamp required and the $200 fee to be able to have a suppressor. But it's not even about the money. It's more about just not being on another list. And it's because the second reason that I'm going to come up with is, just because you don't want one doesn't mean that everybody else shouldn't be able to have one. And the final reason would be freedom. Who are they to decide for us what we are or aren't allowed to have? All right. You know, we're not talking about a firearm. We're not talking about a deadly weapon. We're talking about something that makes shooting the firearms more comfortable. That if the government would stop regulating this product, it would create a surplus of it, driving the cost of it down to where every American in the country that wanted to have one could go out to their local firearms store and just do a 4473 for it. to just do a regular federal firearms background check for it. I think I know there would be some conservatives out there, some pro 2A advocates that would be like, no, it's still not enough. But I think the majority of rational gun owners would be like, you know what? I'll do a 4473. No extra cost, no extra hassle, just a single piece of paperwork, show them my license, show them my concealed carry permit. I pay for it and walk out the door. I think a lot of Americans would probably meet halfway on that. But now that this can of worms has been opened, there's a really high probability that it's going to become much deeper than that, that because of the Bruin decision that came out last year, last year, there's a good probability that the whole NFA could become unraveled at this point. There's not a lot of text, history, or tradition supporting the National Firearms Act, the Gun Control Act. There's really, I've done a lot of looking around once the Bruin decision came out. I did a lot of research, and there's not a lot. There's not much. If the leftists, if the Biden administration, if the ATF, weaponized ATF, wants to continue to keep pushing and pushing and pushing like they have been, I'm pretty certain that the Supreme Court is going to put everybody in place. What do you think, Ted?
Hey, ATF, you
I love that guy. So that's why I wanted to make a video. I seen it. There's a couple of other content creators that have put out content on it. I'm going to link them. I got the link to the ATF's open letter to FFLs in the description below. So you can check that out for yourself and read the entire letter in its full context. And until next time, guys, live your life to the fullest, because anything less is an injustice to yourself and every single person around you. Yeah. Stay free, America.
It's time to shut up and shoot.
Hi, here we go.
Mad Tech Industries, the official Cerakoter for Therapy Range.